What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the series finale and the series as a whole of Peacemaker. This is a show that I was really excited to see when it was first announced, and seeing John Cena in the Suicide Squad and the way that they left his character off in that film kind of made me a little bit hesitant, because I really didn't like the way that the character went out in the Suicide Squad, and that ending with between him and Rick Flag. It was really disappointing, and I wanted to see how James Gunn was able to turn this guy that you so much desperately want to kill and turn him into somebody that you can actually root for. So picking up where the Suicide Squad left off, Peacemaker returns home after recovering from his encounter with Bloodsport, only to discover that freedom comes with a price. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to be talking about the show in spoilers, so if you have not seen the show, why the fuck not? Go on HBO Max and go and check it out, because this is a show that you might want to binge and check out, because I thought this show was a lot of fun and James Gunn did a lot of great things with this show. And so with that warning out of the way, one last time in case you didn't hear me, this is a spoiler discussion. If you haven't seen Peacemaker and you don't want to know anything about the show, go ahead and log out, because this is not for you. And if you just don't really give a fuck about this show, welcome here, and hopefully you like this review. So one thing that I really liked about the show and got me hooked was the opening scene with Peacemaker in the hospital, and seeing how he was thinking that he was being able to free himself and being able to go back to the normal life that he once had. And then we get that amazingly awesome dance opening number that really solidified the show in just one little tone. I really like the way that they did the opening credits, and if that didn't get you into the show, then I don't know what will, because I thought that opening credits was one of the best opening credits in anything, and it solidified that this show, that opening credits is what the show is. And I had a lot of fun with this. I thought John Cena did a really good job of emoting his emotions from his Peacemaker character, because when you see him in the Suicide Squad, you see him as somebody that has different layers, but you don't know much about him. You know his cause and his quota, and that's just about it. And it was great seeing James Gunn being able to develop him in this show and being able to root for him to the end, because when he killed Rick Flag during the Battle of Corto Maltese, it was really hard for me to get a hold of this character, because Rick Flag is one of my favorite characters in DC. I know a lot of people didn't like him in the 2016 Suicide Squad. I personally liked him in that movie, and they amped it up one more bit in the Suicide Squad. I really like the way that James Gunn and John Cena were able to give us a new layer to Peacemaker, and being able to get us a little bit of the behind the scenes of this character, so that we can be able to root for him to the end, because I thought they did a lot of really cool things and a lot of satisfying things that made me root for him, even though I didn't like him at the beginning of the show because of what happened in the Suicide Squad. And so seeing him develop and being able to see himself in a different light, being able to know that little trauma, that little thing that has caused him a lot of pain, is something that really emoted this character, and it was a really great thing to see. Another great character that we have is Danielle Brooks. She plays Amanda Waller's daughter, Adebayo, and I thought she was really great. I've only seen her a little bit in Orange is the New Black, and I thought she was good in that show for what that show was, but I thought she did something really great and really inspiring in this show, because I thought she did a really good job of bringing that character, but making us see that she is a different version of Amanda Waller, because Amanda Waller is the biggest bitch on the planet that you just want to implant her with one of those bombs in her head and just explode her at any given time, because she is the biggest bitch on the planet. And seeing those two different dichotomy between Amanda Waller and Adebayo, I thought it was great, and it was giving us a new level of anticipation, and it really gives us a little bit more as we go on into the show, towards the end of the show, when she sees how Eagly is hugging Chris towards the end of episode 7, I believe. Episode 7. And so that was really great, and I really liked that scene, because it gave us that little callback between the interaction between her and Chris. Chris tells her that Eagly hugged her and she didn't believe him. One of my favorite lines in the show, I believe, I'm not remembering it well, but I'm trying to remember most of it. I believe it was something like, if you don't believe in miracles, that's up to you. And you get to see that character change towards the end, plus the way that Chris finds out that she's Amanda Waller's daughter. That was really great, and I like the dynamic between her and Chris. I thought that was one of my favorites, but not my favorite. And I like that we get to know a little bit more about Hardcore. I thought she was serviceable in the small parts that she had in the Suicide Squad, but seeing her really develop in the show and seeing her go into different directions was something that was really great. And I really like the way that Jennifer Holland actually portrayed that character in the show, because she was so badass, especially in that bar scene in the first episode. I thought she kicked so much ass throughout the show, and seeing how they were just barely announced season 2, I knew none of them were going to die. But I really like the way that James Gunn pulls on your emotions towards this show, because a lot of the funniness and a lot of the vulgarity and a lot of the raunchiness, it really does have a simple sweet spot in this show, and that has been shown throughout his whole movie career, that he is able to balance the heart and the heavy. And that's something that I really appreciated about the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and to a certain degree to the second one. And I like that he was able to combine the best parts of Guardians of the Galaxy and the best part of Slithers. I thought that he did a really good job in writing it, and I thought he did a terrific job directing the episodes that he directed. And I can't wait to see what they do with season 2, because to a certain degree, I thought a lot of these characters had a lot more to shine in the show than they did in the Suicide Squad. Another new character who is my absolute favorite is Freddie Strama's Adrian Chase, also known as Vigilante. He is like the DC's Deadpool, but with a twist. And I really, from the moment that you get to hear his voice through his voice messages, you knew you were in for something special with this character, and I have loved every single moment that he has been on screen, especially during that jail scene in episode 4, I believe. And the way that he portrays this character is really, really great. They never try to force a lot of things in your face, and they don't try to do a lot. These characters are some people that you want to be able to root behind, especially John, played by Steve Aggies, who did a really good job. I'm a huge fan of Robert Patrick, have been for the longest time, and I don't know why, but sometimes I confuse him with Chris Cooper. I think they both have the same facial structures, but I think he did a really good job of being this dickhead racist father in this film. A lot of the great comedic moments come between him and Detective Sophie Song, who is played by Annie Chang. The banter that they had when Chris's dad gets framed for something that he didn't do, and the way that he interacted with the cops, I thought that was a lot of fun, and I thought there was a lot of great comedic moments. There was never a time when I thought that this show had any type of filler, and it just kept moving at a simple pace. This show is really quick moving. It has a lot of heart. It's really bloody and really gory, and it has a lot of great moments in this show that I can't wait to see what they do with the second season. And I can't wait to see what John Cena does with Peacemaker moving on, because I think he did a really good job of being Peacemaker in this show, and a lot of people had a lot of worries about how he was going to be able to carry the show, because I know a lot of people don't have that big of a faith with John Cena. He shines in comedic roles, and I think that he is great when he is trying to emote some of the emotions and some of the trauma that he's faced when he was younger with accidentally killing his brother, and the way that he left things off with Rick Flags. A lot of that is something that is going to haunt him for the rest of his life, and there's no way that he's going to be able to escape that. And I think that is something that is well done and really compelling to this character, because by the time that we get down to the second to last episode where Chris kills his dad, there was a lot of heartbreak, and you actually felt bad for Chris, because at the beginning of the show, you see how much he loves his dad, even though that he knows that he's a racist sack of shit. And that's how he gets most of his gear, is through his dad. and the way that his character, that he had to face a moral dilemma with killing his dad and not knowing if he was able to do it, because there's something deep inside that's holding him back from doing it, until he pulls the trigger and he feels free from that. You really get to feel that emotion, and that's something that James Gunn does well with the writing. And I think everybody that directed this show, from James Gunn, Brad Anderson, Jody Hill, Rosemary Rodriguez, everybody that directed this show did a fantastic job, and they had their own style. They didn't make this whole show feel like it was losing steam. It felt like they were injecting a lot of great energy into the show and doing the best that they possibly could. And that is something that I will always take away from the show. I thought this show was a lot of fun. Again, overall, I thought the show was fun. It was bloody, gory, vulgar, raunchy. Everything that you would expect a James Gunn feature to be, he put it in here and amplified it by 1,000. I thought it was high octane fun, and I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Peacemaker season 1 a 10 out of 10. I thought it was a lot of fun. The writing was great. The directing was amazing. The chemistry between everybody in the show was fantastic. I can't wait to see what James Gunn does with season 2. He's going to be writing and directing all of season 2. But what are your thoughts on Peacemaker season 1? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What is your favorite from Peacemaker? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you think. And if you like this review, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more reviews. Click that bell so you get notified when I have more reviews coming up. This weekend, I'm going to be having a couple reviews coming out. I'm going to be having my review for Uncharted, Dog, and The Curse. And hopefully either Friday or Saturday, I'm going to be having my review for the Netflix film Texas Chainsaw, so don't miss out. So until next time, this is Josie Reviews.